Meet Argyle, 31 years old, investment banker. Went skinny dipping in a swamp on a Saturday night with lady friend Cassandra. Sunday morning, headache. Aspirin doesn't work. Monday morning, neck stiff. Things don't smell quite right. Eats breakfast, hoping it would ease his headache. Notices things don't taste quite right. Tuesday morning, deflated, uneasy, and nauseated. He steps into his Rolls Royce and drives to his job, where he works as an investment banker. He makes a few $100,000. His day is going well, but suddenly, projectile vomits on his monitor and keyboard. He decides to go home early. Upon eating dinner, he notices things still don't taste quite right. Thursday morning, falls out of his chair at work, convulses wildly, leaves work, goes to the doctor. Diagnosis: brain-eating amoeba.
The blobby-crawling organism in question crawls through the mud in search of bacteria to eat. When food supplies are low, they sprout tails and swim off like guided missiles in search of happier hunting grounds. Sometimes this hunting ground can be in your nasal mucosa or nose. Once inside your nose, they travel down the olfactory nerve stem to your brain. Once inside your brain, they start devouring your brain cells. This organism's name is Naegleria fowleri. Naegleria fowleri is a single-celled creature called a protist. Like most amoebas, it eats through a mechanism called phagocytosis, or cell eating. Phagocytosis is achieved by utilizing structures on the exterior of the cell called pseudopods. Pseudopods are a part of the cell that resembles an extending tendril that is able to lyse or burst the cell, which enables the amoeba to engulf its prey for digestion. Digestion occurs in the food vacuole. The food vacuole is a small cavity in the cytoplasm of a cell, bound by a single membrane containing water, food, or metabolic waste. When metabolic waste is generated, it gets excreted out of the cell through a contractile vacuole. The usual method of prokaryote cell division is termed binary fission. Binary fission is the method by which bacteria reproduce. The circular DNA molecule is replicated, then the cell splits to two identical cells, each containing an exact copy of the original cell's DNA. This is similar to how the organism in question is able to divide and conquer your brain cells. This parasite is a vicious killer. It hijacks the brain for food and shelter. Inside the brain, the amoeba has a perfect environment to feed and reproduce. It has food, heat, and moisture, making it a perfect habitat for the amoeba to thrive. The amoeba has a two-pronged attack. First, it hijacks the host cell using special feet called pseudopods. Then the amoeba cuts a hole in the cell wall, and when the contents of the cell leak out of it, it eats them. Not only are the amoeba ruthless killers, but they also have a cunning method of avoiding the body's immune system. The amoeba can defend itself by forming a coat called a cyst. The coat surrounds the amoeba and is impervious to the host's immune system. When the body's white blood cells attack it, it forms a cystic coat. The white blood cells latch on to the coat, but can't lyse the cell. Then the amoeba sheds the coat and leaves the white blood cells behind. The amoeba is essentially holding the brain hostage, so when the body sends the immune system to diffuse the hostage situation, oftentimes it makes the infection worse with swelling of the brain. This is also referred to as PAM, or primary amoebic meningoencephalitis. Naegleria fowleri initially exists in the sediment as a cyst, but when the water gets warm enough, it can emerge as a trophozoite. At this stage, it forms a flagellate or tail, enabling it to swim. It is at this time the amoeba begins to divide and is primed to enter the nasal mucosa, where it starts this cycle again. Inhalation of this creature is oftentimes done by jumping, diving, skinny dipping, or any situation where water can be forced up the nose. Symptoms include changes in sense of smell and taste, headache, fever, stiff neck, nausea, vomiting, seizures, ataxia or failing motor skills, and ultimately, death.
Did I forget to mention that contracting this parasite has a 95% mortality rate? So good luck, Argyle, and let the good times roll. Driving home. Has seizure. Bad seizure. Crashes car. He wanders home in a wobbly fashion. His lady friend, Cassandra, finds him disoriented on the side of the highway. He arrives home at 2:55 a.m. and falls asleep. Friday morning. Home. 9 a.m. Awake and in a cold sweat. Feverish and limping, he goes for a juice box. Knowing death is nearby, stifling vomit, nostalgia strikes a fear of unfulfilled dreams. Saturday morning, newspaper arrives, glances slowly at an article about the brain-eating amoeba. Sunday morning, Argyle's status, dead. Cause, brain-eating amoeba.